Hi, everybody. All right, so this is day number 7. So day number 7 is so awesome. um, and at the end, there's going to be another audio that I'm going to play because it's just huge. It's that good, you guys. So if you're new to following me, my name is Sherry Capella, and I'm a life coach, and I teach women something I've come up with, which is Sherapy, which is basically your own self-therapy, teaching yourself to rise up and into your greatness. But what I'm doing over these next 100 days is I'm sharing with you what I'm learning from a class that I'm in right now for life coaching, and it's called 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself. It's a book that we have to read in this class, How to Change Your Life Forever. And it's by Steve Chandler. So this is what it looks like. I know it's backwards, but you get the gist. So today is huge. Okay, so today obviously builds upon the last 6 days that we've been going through. And at the end of this, I'll review really quickly what the last 6 days are and have been. I'm on live, baby. Can you go on now? And today's awesome. It's powerful. I'm here to tell you that if you are ready for this message, you're going to get it today. Because it quite possibly could introduce something to you that you hadn't thought of before. So it's so poignant recognizing that today's New Year's Day. I mean, everybody's all about reinventing themselves, setting their goals. So I'm going to be reading the page to you today because today's a lot more about the value that the author is bringing to us by way of his actual words. Some of his words didn't speak to me, but they might speak to you. And I want to make sure that I don't gloss over anything that could potentially have more meaning to you than it did for me. So here we go. Number 7, day number 7 on ways to motivate yourself. Look for the lost gold. So here we go. When I am happy, I see the happiness in others. When I am compassionate, I see the compassion in other people. When I am full of energy and hope, I see opportunities all around me. But when I'm angry, I see other people as unnecessarily testy. When I'm depressed, I notice that other people's eyes just start to look sad. When I'm weary, I see the world as boring and unattractive. Who I am is what I see. So basically, the world around you is a reflection of how you're seeing it. If I drive into the airport and I complain, what a crowded, smog-ridden mess this place is, I am really expressing what a crowded, smog-ridden mess I am at that moment. If I had been feeling motivated that day and full of hope and happiness, I could easily drive toward the city, in our case, downtown Cleveland, and say, wow, what a thriving, energetic metropolis this is. Again, I would have been describing my inner landscape and not necessarily the landscape of the city that I was in. Our self-motivation suffers most from how we choose to see our circumstances in our lives. That's because we don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. In every circumstance, we can look for the gold or we can look for the filth. And what we look for, we will find. You guys, that's huge. What you look for, you're going to find. The best starting point for self-motivation is in what we choose to look for and what we see around us. Do we see the opportunity that's all around us? When I open my eyes in the morning, I'm not confronted by the world, but I see a world. I see a million possible worlds. It is always our choice. Which world do we want to see today? Opportunity is life's gold. If you see it that way, opportunity really is life's gold. It's all you need to be happy. It's the fertile field in which you grow as a person. And opportunities are like those subatomic quantum particles that come into existence only when we are seen as an observer. Your opportunities will multiply when you choose to see them. All right, so that, I had to chew on that one today when I read it and when I was thinking about it. And I want to just share with you the day 7 notes that I took, because after I digested it and chewed on it a little bit, it was just more profound for me than I had originally, took from just reading that page. So day 7, look for the lost gold. We are what we see, but we are also what we don't see. Meaning, a lot of us don't see that we have a choice. All these 6 or 7 days now, it's all about the fact that you have a stinking choice. It's the glass half full or half empty metaphor. Our mind thinks a thought, and then we go on a mission to gather evidence to support that. So I want to talk about that because that's something that we go through in my life coach training all the time. You know, you might have a thought that you're fat, okay? And you are going to go on a mission at all times to collect evidence to support that thought. See, I'm fat. I can't fit into my pants. I'm fat because, oh, I'm trying on my outfit for work today. My underwear are tight and I got some flub hanging out and whatever. We seek out the evidence to prove to ourselves that the thought that we're having is true. Instead of, you know, analyzing the situation, we just collect evidence and we build this case basically for what we see as opposed to against it. Let's see, where was I? Oh, I love this part, you guys. Dr. Wayne Dyer said this: if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So how do you change this if this is your reality? If you're living in a spiral of, you know, just seeing the glass half empty, if you're depressed, if you're sad, if you're defeated because you can't lose the weight, if you're defeated with overwhelm, you know, insert whatever the problem is. How do you get out of it? First, you need to be aware of the fact that everywhere you go at every turn, you are seeking evidence to support it. You're seeking evidence to support the negative nuggets than it is that you are seeking evidence to support the gold that you should be collecting. So here's what I mean by that. How are you seeking evidence of it? How should you be aware of the fact that you're kind of negative nugget collecting, if you will? Take a look at what you're watching on a daily basis. You know, what are you watching on TV? What do you listen to when you're in the car? What do you listen to when you're, you know, cleaning your house or whatever? What are you eating when you're in the kitchen? Are you numbing out with alcohol? Are you over consuming? Are you overindulging? You know, what are you doing when you're eating every day? If you are what you eat, then you are what you think. And how you become the product of your thoughts, it's because of what you're listening to, what you're learning from. Stop feeding your mind aimless crap that feeds the negative nuggets. Start to question your thinking. I don't know if anybody ever told you this, but you're allowed to. Just because you're thinking things a certain way, it's more than likely it's because you were conditioned to think that way. You can start to question those thoughts. Stop seeing what isn't working and stop seeing where there's room for improvement. Start seeing where there's opportunity for possibility. You know, I mean, it's New Year's Day. There's so much possibility if you just see that you have it there at your reach. Wake up and harness the beauty that surrounds you. It all starts with your outlook on life. It all starts with your self-talk. How are you talking to yourself? How do you refer to yourself? Get your self-talk in alignment with the direction of your dreams. Then see the gold that surrounds you. You have a choice in this life. You have a choice with your thoughts. You have a choice with everything. Happy New Year, Sandy. Hi. And to just also realize that in addition to what you're consuming and how it's teaching you to think, you are a product of the average 5 people with whom you spend the most time. So if you're spending time with people who are constantly whining and complaining, that's what you're going to be. That's who you're going to be. And it also is who you spend the most time with starts to create in you a phase or a state, rather, if you will, of learned helplessness. You get into this vicious cycle of, I can't do this because this is how I know how to do it. When the reality is start to question what the heck you're thinking about and realize that you've just learned how to be helpless. You can totally help yourself. You can do your own therapy. Just start to realize, what am I doing on a daily basis to, you know, what am I listening to? What am I watching? How am I eating? All of that is contributing to why you are where you are and who you've become. So now I am going to play something for you guys. This is really, I think this will be a good one for some of you. Probably for most of you. And I hope that you guys can hear it. So, whoa! Hi, Jillian. You're done reading? Go read a little bit more and I'll be right with you, sweetheart. She doesn't want to take a nap, do you? No. All right, so I'm going to play this for you guys. Listen to it. Let it sink in, okay? I'll post a link at the end for how you can actually listen to it on your own, but it's awesome. It's all about how you have the power to change the way that you're thinking, just by seeing things differently. Bear with me a moment. Technology issues. As I say on my podcast all the time, I don't have an IT department, so I have to do these things on my own on the fly, right? All right, let me see.
And you're always the helpless victim. Guess what? You'll remain that way. You're essentially enabling.
Sorry, guys. I'm new to Apple. Can you tell?
One of my greatest
Here we go.
I'm a big believer that some of the most important, worthwhile lessons in life are often the most simple, the most overlooked. One of my greatest realizations is that any situation is far less important than your interpretation of it. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that anything in life is simply a product of the meaning that we give it. As Wayne Dyer said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And this is extremely significant because it unlocks any door in the world to be able to have that perspective, that understanding that you are the one in control. Knowing that will undoubtedly take you places. The question, of course, is what are you doing about it, right? It's no secret that if you look at things with a negative lens, they're going to appear negative. If you look at life as this giant tragedy and you're always the helpless victim, guess what? You'll remain that way. You're essentially enabling a self-fulfilling prophecy. We are who we believe we are. The world around us exists as we allow ourselves to see it. Words like difficult, impossible, they have no meaning. They don't even exist until we give them life. Think about it. We are creating negativity. You know, constructing barriers that have absolutely no reason to be up. I like to simplify this equation because to me, it's about having a goal and achieving it. That's it. Right? You're at point A and you want to get to point B. And there are really two options. You can map out your path and make it happen, or you can create reasons that it's not possible, that you can't do it, that success isn't for you. Right? Starting with the little things like waking up early or changing, eating habits. We look at what's in front of us and we ask why. We don't ask why not. And here's my take. If human beings got a man on the moon, you can come up with a strategy to wake up early without hitting a snooze button. It is that simple. And this applies all the way up the ladder to larger things, to running a marathon, getting a promotion, on and on and on, getting out of a particular situation. See yourself as someone who wins, who succeeds. Leave all that other baggage behind you. It helps no one. They say some of life's greatest accomplishments were achieved by people who didn't know they were once considered impossible. They had a target and they hit it. Before you even think about your specifics, you have to know that a solution is out there, that it exists. It's just a matter of whether you will make it happen. And that's where it's so important to set yourself up to succeed, to brush the negativity aside and to analyze what's in front of you with the lens of someone who can and will get the job done. Surround yourself with positive people. Quit associating with things that tell you anything but yes. Life is hard enough as it is, right? You don't need additional hurdles. It's about you and that goal. You and your objectives. Not can you, but how will you? How will you get to your final destination?
Okay, there it was. Hopefully that was as awesome for you as it was for me. So just to recap, you are at a point in your life right now where you have a choice. And I really just want to encourage you to start finding what it is that you are doing in your life that's not working, and pay attention to it. Pay attention to what you're listening to, what you're eating, you know, who you're surrounding yourself with. Recognize that sometimes just how you're seeing things and how you're thinking about things needs to be changed. And the minute you change it, it totally changes everything. The quote from Dr. Wayne Dyer again is, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That's powerful, you guys. So you have every right to question what it is that you think and why you think that way. So that's day number 7, to look for the lost gold. So to recap our 7 days together so far, number 1 was to get on your deathbed, to see things from the end state, to see that, you know, you need to have a plan where you're going in life. If you're not on that track right now, come up with a plan, chart the course differently, redirect everything, and start going in that new direction. If you're old enough to figure out a cell phone and be on Facebook and watch a Facebook Live, you're old enough and strong enough, you're not too old, I should say, to re-engineer your life, to recreate who you want to be. Number 2, stay hungry. Get a vision. This is the one from Arnold Schwarzenegger. At the time that he was being interviewed, he was a bodyweight champion, but he was not a top box office draw movie star. And this was in the 70s. The interviewer asked him, you know, what do you want to do next now that you've conquered World Heavyweight Championship? He said, I'm going to become the best, you know, movie star that ever lived and make the most money. And it was because he had a vision. Number 3, tell yourself a true lie, just like Arnold did. He had a vision. If you're in a situation where you can't see that vision, start faking it until you make it. Number 4, keep your eye on the prize. This was the one from Jimmy Johnson, where he took all of his football players through the exercise on focusing on the right thing. Don't get distracted. Focus on the right thing. He put a 2x4 down on the ground and he told them, focus on walking across it. How come they could walk across it when it was just on the ground? But the minute he raised it up 10 stories, they couldn't walk across it because they were focusing on failing. They were focused on falling instead of focusing on walking across it. I think that one's huge. Number 5, learn to sweat in peace. Prepare to win or prepare to fail. So it's all about, you know, what you put into it now is going to pay off later. To just sacrifice your comfort now so that you're not beating yourself up later when you didn't accomplish your goals. Right now it's winter. Right now it's snowing out. As I watch this, I can barely see out my window because there's so much stinking snow. And I know that how I eat now, and whether I decide to get on my treadmill or whether I decide to go downstairs and lift weights, all of that plays into the cycle of momentum that I want to build so that I can be the kind of mom, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you name it, come summer, when I have to go to a water park with my kids. Okay, so that's the forward thinking that we're talking about now. Learn to sweat in peace. Number 6, simplify your life. We have overcomplicated our lives in so many ways. Start to look for ways that you have overcomplicated it and start to simplify it. And then number 7, look for the lost gold. Start to look for ways that you have nothing but opportunity around you to make yourself be who you want to be. And start looking for ways that you have gotten yourself to being in the state that you're in now. Start to question why you watch the TV shows. Start to question why you eat the foods that you eat. Start to question everything and realize that you have the power of a choice. Make a better choice. Get a better outcome. Start stepping into your greatness. Have a good day.